Guys, it's Vesna here. Welcome to my channel. For today's episode, I'm creating 12 different Dollar Tree tier tray DIYs. So let's get going. So for this DIY, I'm making a little haunted house using this mini haunted house cutout, some moss, some charcoal and Rust-Oleum chalked paint in charcoal, and then some Decor Art chalky finish paint in white, and then some of these wood cutouts from the Dollar Tree as well that are kind of like stickers, but I wound up hot gluing them and painting them, and then obviously some hot glue as well. So I start off with just painting the haunted house, and I'm using, as I said, that black paint from Rust-Oleum, so it's a charcoal paint in the chalked finish. And I paint it all the way through on the back as well, and then I go over top of it with some of that white paint. And now when I'm painting the haunted house white, if you've watched my channel before, you know that I like to paint things, either dry brush them or paint over top of them, and then I like to blend everything in with a baby wipe. So for this haunted house, for the white part, I'm going to paint the whole haunted house in white, and then I do a little bit of blending with a baby wipe, and to me, it just gives that like a great effect. And that's all there is to the painting of the house, and then I will move on to painting the wood little cutouts. I'm very excited to let you guys know that today's video is a part of the Pinterest DIY challenge, which is hosted by the lovely Sonia over at Domestic Diva DIY. And what we had to do was we had to create DIYs of any theme of our choice that were Pinterest inspired. So mine are all Pinterest inspired, and make sure you head on over to my Pinterest to see all of these inspirations. I have 3 different Halloween boards and a tier tray board, and my ideas were all kind of inspired from pins in those boards. So head on over there if you wanted to see the originals. And there's a playlist, so check that out. It'll all be linked in my description below. Once I paint that and I go over to let it dry, then I go ahead and I paint the bats and ghosts and pumpkins. The bats I'm painting black, the ghosts white, and the pumpkins I'm using orange. I did forget to say that I'm using some pumpkin orange acrylic paint. And I just let everything dry. You only need 1 coat of the dark and the white because the wood is so raw, and you're able to just paint over it really well with 1 coat, and then I go ahead to assemble everything. So really, I just sort of just put any of the shapes wherever I think they would fit best. I'm kind of wanting the ghost to be peeking out through some of the windows as well as around the house, and then I add the bats as well. I thought I was going to add that skeleton head, but decided, I don't like that. So I just go ahead and I attach these, and I wind up using some hot glue to reinforce it because the little stickies aren't the best. And then I add the moss at the bottom, and that is all there is to this, and it just turned out amazing. So here I have just this wood plank, which has like a little bit of an indent. It almost looks kind of like a square from a canvas if you were to take a canvas off, just very small. And I'm going to use it for the next DIY, and I am making kind of like a shadow box. So I'm actually using the inside of it versus the outside. And I'm going to create like a Halloween scene, which I thought was really cute. Um, Pinterest is full of fantastic ideas. So I'm using this. I happened to find it at the Dollar Tree. I haven't seen them really ever, so this was the first time. But if you can't find something like this, you could easily make this with just a piece of of a square block. Now it could be from one of those signs if you cut it off, or sometimes they do have little squares, wood squares that you can buy, and some tumble blocks, and you can make this super easy. So I did show you that I'm using those pumpkins and the little, actually it's a wood cutout that they had for Christmas, and I'm going to use it for this. I'm just cutting off the tree, but the orange and brown acrylic paints I'll be using for the pumpkins just because I find the orange to be a little bit much. But before I do any of that, I am doing the inside of this box, shadow box or plank, whatever you want to call it, and I am painting it in just a black paint. I happen to be using my Rust-Oleum charcoal paint, but you could use acrylic paint. I'm just using that because I have it on hand and I had it out for the other project, so I thought I would just continue on with it. So for the border, I'm just using the part of the brush to dry it off, and then I'm going to be blending it in with a little bit of a baby wipe and just to kind of make it look like it's a lighter shade of black. And then I go ahead, as I mentioned, to cut off the Christmas tree just to give me a little pickup truck that's going to be actually holding some large jack-o'-lanterns versus the Christmas tree. And I do have to paint out the truck, and I'm painting him out in like a combination of orange and black. So I will have all of these displayed on a tray for you at the very end. And if you really want to see how I put trays together and how my trays look for Halloween, I am having an episode come out on the 13th over on my home channel where I'm going to be displaying my tier trays for Halloween. I'm going to try and do the house tour as well before that, after that, but I'm not sure how fast I'll get it done. I have a very, very busy week with family. It is my little guy's 6th birthday, so it's a very busy week, so I don't know what I'll be able to finish, but I will try to have the home tour done next week as well as the porch tour. So if you're interested, make sure you check out my home channel as well. Subscribe there and hit the notification bell so you see more. And if you're not subscribed here, do that as well because I post about it on my community too. So after I have everything painted, I go ahead and I just make the tree that I want the tree to kind of look like there's a shadow and it's kind of spooky. So I'm just using some jute rope for that. And what I'm doing is just separating the top of the jute rope. So it'll be one thicker piece and then a few pieces kind of frayed at the top. And then it's time to assemble everything and finish off the truck. I wind up painting like a moon and some clouds at the top in white, and then I hot glue everything down, and then I just add little touches to the truck and to where they're needed just so that it gives me the look that I am going for. And this is super easy and super fun to do, and if you have a Cricut, you could even cut out these shapes and paint them in, whatever you'd like. And if you can't find, same thing, if you can't find the little truck, you could always use those rubber ornaments that they have at Christmas time, or you could just cut out a truck from cardboard or cardstock and then just paint it out. Really super easy to do, and the options that are there if you can't find stuff at the Dollar Tree, because I know with ours it's like a hit and miss. If I go back now, I won't ever see these again for the rest of the season, and I happened to just run across them in August. So here it is all finished, and I think it's so cute and kind of spooky. So another even more simple DIY and very cute. I'm using these pumpkins. These are the carvable pumpkins that you can use for so many fall and Halloween DIYs, including some Christmas DIYs, which I will be showing you this month. But if you can pick these up, they're so versatile that you can use them for so much. I suggest you pick them up. So I'm using my Rust-Oleum chalked paint in linen white, and I'm painting my pumpkin out. Now this took 3 coats for it to completely cover. It just had the orange just kept on showing through, so you just do need several coats to cover it, and that's why I use the chalk paint versus acrylic paint, because I didn't want it to use up all of my white acrylic paint for this pumpkin. You don't have to use the chalk paint. You could use any paint that you have on hand, but I like to buy this big gallon, well, not gallon, but this big tin of the chalk paint because it's not a bad deal, and chalk paint dries fast. It has that matte finish, and it's high quality. So I think I would have even needed more coats had I been using acrylic paint. And so all I'm doing with this is I'm painting the pumpkin black, painting the pumpkin white, and I'm painting the stem black, and then I'm using my Cricut to cut out a crow. I got the image off of Cricut Design Space. I just put crow and it was a free image, and then I put the stencil on and I painted in, and that's all there is to it. If you can freehand draw a crow, I tried to do that. It didn't work out for me, so I wound up using my Cricut, but if you can do it, by all means do it. Or if you have like a cutout or anything, or if you can even find an image online and print it and then cut it out and then trace it around and paint it in there, whatever, depending on your abilities. So the only thing to keep in mind if you are using vinyl as your stencil for this is you want to make sure that when you put the crow stencil on, that you're either pushing it down when you're painting or dabbing it really lightly, but you still have to make sure that it's sticking to your pumpkin really well, because the pumpkin is textured and bumpy and it can leak, so you just have to be careful. And then also your vinyl will likely rip off some paint, so you got to go back and put more paint on, or if you cover it in Mod Podge, it probably won't rip the paint off. But just some tips. So here it is all finished. Again, super simple, but it'll look amazing in the tier tray. So these next few DIYs are, again, super simple DIYs. I'm using some of the fall stuff in together with some of the Halloween stuff, and really easy but cute little additions to the tier tray. So for this one, I am using 2 hay bales and these bloodshot eyes, and I am just hot gluing the eyes to the hay bales, and then I'm hot gluing each eye on top of the other and kind of making like an eyeball topiary. Very cute, very Halloween, and really fun. And that's all there is to it. So that's it, and here it is. I love it. I think it's cute and very Halloween. So if you thought the last one was simple, this one is even more simple. What you'll need is a skull, and I had this little pack of skulls in here, and an eyeball, so I'm just using what's left over. And you would just want to make a little hole in your eyeball and a little hole in your skull. You can either use some sort of knife for this. You could also use your glue gun and melt it down a little bit and then cut it out. Up to you. I wound up using just like a little knife to pick out a hole, and then I have these little faux votive candles, like battery operated ones, and I'm just putting these on top of those. And then I have some of the Halloween ribbon that I bought at the Dollar Tree, and I'm just wrapping it around the base of the votive candle so that they match, and that's all there is to it. So just look how cute these guys are. They're so cute, and they've got the spook factor because they have that light inside of them, and they'll just look amazing in a tier tray. So I'm back to the hay bales. I love these hay bales. I'm so excited that they came around this year. I've done so much with them for fall and now into Halloween, and I may wind up using them even for Christmas, who knows. But I am just hot gluing a whole bunch together to try and make kind of like a stack of hay like you would have at the farm. And then I will be using those skulls that you saw in the previous DIY, and I'm going to be making kind of like a skull topiary type of thing on top of these hay bales. Really easy, really fun. Now the inspiration was with pumpkins, but I've decided to do skulls, and I've done that a few times throughout this video where my inspiration was a little bit different, but it was my inspiration, and that's where my creativity came in. And I hot glue these together, and then I hot glue the skulls one on top of the other, and again, that's all there is to this one. Again, another really easy one, not too difficult this time around, but still super cute. I did decide to add some of the bones. There was like a pack of bones at Dollar Tree that you could get, and I just added them to the hay bales just to add a little bit of detail. And since I had a bag of bones, I decided to do a stack of bones. And I mean, what's more spookier than a stack of bones on Halloween? So I'm just making kind of a random stack of bones. I'm putting 3 horizontally and then 2 vertically, and then I continue adding as I see fit. And I make my stack of bones. I actually put 3 vertically, not 2 vertically. But anyway, I just continue to do this until I get the height that I was looking for. It just like another cute thing to add to your tray. I'm always looking at different little fillers and different things that you can put in trays, and I thought this was perfect. If you think this is too simple and you're not liking the color of the bones, you could always paint them a different color to make them maybe look a little bit more realistic, but I really liked the kind of dirty, yellowy white kind of color of these bones and skulls and all that, so I left them as they are. To me, they kind of look rustic and more zombie-like, I don't know. Then I wanted to continue on with the spook factor, so I found this image from Whiskey and Wit, and I printed it off. It's from her blog, and I printed it off, and now I'm just cutting it to size so that it fits my frame. And the frame is a picture frame from the Dollar Tree. I thought about adding bones because I had some extra ones around the frame, but I didn't like the way that looked, so I'm just keeping the plain very simple. This is probably even easier than any of the other ones, but I'm taking the back out, putting the little picture in, and that's all there is to this DIY, but it's such a cute little addition to the tray, and I love it. And to go with the Hocus Pocus Broom Company, we need some brooms. So I am making brooms using some of those leftover bones. And I'm just choosing a few different sizes, and then I am using some jute rope for the bottom part of the broom, and I'm hot gluing it, and then I'm also wrapping around some jute rope at the top so it looks like, you know, it's been handmade, the broom. And that's all there is to this one. After I create those brooms, I hot glue them together so they're a stack of 3 so they don't fall over. You don't have to hot glue them, but one is too little, I think, to have unless you have a mini tray. So I thought if I glue them together, it'll look a little bit more substantial. So here they are, and they look so cute and adorable. I love them. This is another simple one. I saw this from the Schwoven's Nest. Sandra had made, but I forget what she made. It was, I think, something for Easter, maybe? And she used these wood ornaments as well, and she glued a whole bunch of them together to make kind of like a chunky wood decor piece. So that's what I'm doing. I'm using all but one of these hats that come in a pack of 8, and I am hot gluing them all together, and then I'm going to be painting them in a purple color. Now my purple color is really light, so I just add a little bit of black to it to make it a bit of a darker purple, and then I add some ribbons to cover the hole, and I have a nice chunky little wood decor piece for $1 versus, you know, the 5-6 bucks that it would be somewhere else. And you can see these little chunky wood decor pieces in a lot of the trays that you find on Pinterest. So this is one way that you can make that yourself for probably less than buying it somewhere. So here it is, all completed again. Very, very cute. For this DIY, I'm using these square beads from the Dollar Tree that I'm going to be spray painting in black using the Tremclad spray paint. And I am also using one of the witch's hats that I saved from the package and some jute, not jute twines, yeah, just some twine. And I've painted the witch's hat in purple, and I've attached it to one end of the beads, and then I attached a tassel to the other. I didn't record myself doing the tassel because I had hit record and it didn't record. That's why. A very simple reason. I thought I hit record, but I didn't. I use my phone, so sometimes I'll push the button and then I think it's done it and I don't look. I mean, it's completely my fault for not paying attention, I guess. But anyway, I just wrapped it around a few times around my hand and then I cut the bottom part. You guys have seen tassels made before. If you would like a tassel tutorial, I can do one for my next DIY. But anyway, I attached that to one end and then the witch's hat to the other, and it's just a cute little addition to the tray. And last but not least, this DIY includes all of the things that you see in the picture, except for the square beads. I used that for the DIY before, but I'm using these jack-o'-lanterns and the cats. They're all the wood cutouts from the Dollar Tree, and I had spray painted the cats black, the jack-o'-lanterns white, and then I'm attaching everything to some twine, and I'm doing white, white bead, black bead, white jack-o'-lantern, then I start with black bead, white bead, black cat, and then I continue until I finish, and then I add some bows to them, and that's it. And the garland is done, and it's cute. Awesome for Halloween. I have it displayed on my fireplace, but like I said, you could use it anywhere. You could, actually, I didn't say that, did I? The reason I had made it is because I thought that you could use it either, like if you have your tray displayed on a round table, you could have it hanging off of there. You could have it kind of like around your tray if you wanted to, or you could have it on your fireplace. So it's not a like a tray decor, but it could be if you wanted it to kind of enhance your tray. That was my thinking for that. I may wind up doing that when I do my home tour, so you might see that if you pop over to my home channel, but if you don't, then I would love to see what you do. So maybe you can share with me over on Instagram. So I do have Instagram and I do have Pinterest. So if you're interested in any of these, all of these were inspired by things that I had found on Pinterest. I have 3 Halloween boards that you can check out over on Pinterest. Now this sadly concludes all of my Halloween DIYs. I am switching over to Christmas next weekend. As sad as it makes me to be done with Halloween because I love Halloween, I also love Christmas, so I'm really excited to start Christmas. And the Hallmark movies are starting on the 22nd, so I got to start my DIYs as well. I'm sure you know this, but in case you don't, when you are putting the twine through the holes in the beads, some of the holes are smaller than the others, and your rope might fray. So what you want to do is you want to either attach a needle or even like a toothpick or something that you can kind of tie to the edge of the rope, and so you can pull it through. Like I said, I'm sure you know what this is. Even if you just took some tape and you just taped it at the end and then pulled it through, that would work as well. It's just to make it a little bit more firm so you can pull it through. That's all. And I want to thank Sonia for hosting this collab. If you guys don't know, Sonia's my sister, and I think she's pretty amazing. So I love all of her DIYs, not just because she's my sister, but I also think she's pretty talented. So make sure you check out her over at Domestic Diva DIY. She's got a lot of channels. She's got a home channel, cooking channel, DIY channel. She's got a vlogging channel. So check her out. She's really talented and pretty amazing, so make sure to check her out. Check out the playlist. There's going to be lots of inspiration on there. It's all Pinterest inspired DIYs, so it'll be great. And let's get back to this DIY. So here I'm just adding some ribbon there from the Dollar Tree that I've just cut into little slits and then tied together and attached to the twine, and here it is all finished. It looks pretty darn cute. So as promised, I will have a display of all of these on a tray, and here it is all lit up in the dark, looking pretty spooky. I'm not sure that it'll stay this way. I just wanted to show you how you could display it, give you some ideas, but I am really loving all of these DIYs. And I've added a little bit of extra fillers in there, like that pumpkin that I DIY'd and the hands from the Dollar Tree and this little skeleton. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you drop by next week for the start of my Christmas DIYs. And make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit that like button. Hit the notification bell. Leave me a comment. You guys have been so quiet lately. So make sure you leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought. What was your favorite? What did you like? What did you not like? Are you ready to start Christmas decorating yet? Is it too soon? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys and chatting with you guys. And thank you so much. Have a great day. Check out the playlist. Check out Sonia. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.